Hi Stuart, can you hear me? I realize I don't really need to write, because if it works, you should hear me. Can you hear me? I hope you can. I don't know about the time lag. Looking good? Yep, you can hear me. Okay. Hello, let's see how that's going. We're a bit early. I received so far 3 questions. While we're waiting for more people to join, I'm assuming you guys know that I'm a huge fan of that Jane Ellis theory. Did everyone understand how that works? Or do I need to explain more about that Jane Ellis theory? Could it be? I'm sure. Shoot, Nick. What's your question? Stuart gets it. Okay, let's see what's the question from Nick, and then I will try to explain. This good question. I love that one. Okay, so basically, let me quickly recap what the theory from Jane Ellis is. Basically, I don't really have an account on Bittrex, but can you see my mouse pointer? No, is that important? I don't think so. Anyway, the green numbers here is the bid table, like what a person would pay to buy XRP, and the red one is what a person would want for selling XRP. Now, the thing is, we have here 4 columns. On the right, as I told now, the red price is the price a person wants for a portion of XRP he wants to sell. First person here wants to sell 28,000 XRP at a price of 45.6 cents, which gives us a total of that, which is also reflected in the first column. Now, the second person already wants 0.1 cent more, and also wants to sell way more, like almost 5 times as much, over 100,000, which gives us a total of 47,000 for that transaction. But the total for both, so this 47,851 plus the 12,873 is the 60,725, and this goes all through. Okay, I hope you're with me so far. Now let's go let's take the $100 ask from someone. that guy would sell 7,000 and something XRP. That would be the sum of his selling. At that point, we are on a total of 19 million US dollars. So if one transaction about $20 million comes in, all those ask orders from the first page until that page number 13 where we are at here, up to the $100 mark would need to be filled. A guy on one of my YouTube comments basically told me that he bought for $8,000 on Bittrex few weeks. In the meantime, maybe 2 months back. It took him 34 minutes. Impossible. I mean, Ripple basically confirms, I don't know, I think less than 3 minutes or less than a minute. I mean, almost immediate transaction, which basically when there is a transaction about 20 million coming in, the only solution for that is the price of XRP being high. And then maybe just one of these positions would need to be filled. I'm bad at math. Let's assume, what did I say, 20 million. Let's assume the price is 100. Now 20 million. I'm really bad. Sorry, I have to calculate. Divided by 100 is 200,000. So in order to be able to do such a high value transaction of 20 million at $100, someone would need to sell 200,000 XRP at once. But as you can see, let's go to the first page again here in that order book. Most of these, let me let my dog out quickly, she's nervous. Come, Sonja. Sorry about that, guys. As you can see, the average sizes of chunks of XRP being sold is usually way below 10,000. So do your own math. But take whatever figure you think. I believe when HSBC will come along, there might be transactions about 200 million. Now do that math. Then at the price of $100 per XRP, basically, when before it would need 200,000, it would need to fill for 2 million XRP, and those orders are just too small, so the price has to rise. Now, coming back to Nick's question, what about arbitrage? Basically the most discussed questions around the Shane Ellis theory is, one, arbitrage. What will happen with arbitrage? I will come to that. And the second is, basically it's not correct to just look at the volume at one exchange. The global volume has to be looked at. And I have one argument which counters both. We all know arbitrage is happening in the stock market, in the foreign exchange markets. Every market there is where there is a counter market in another country, there exists arbitrage. What it basically means is you buy low in one market and sell high in another. So that's the proof that the price is not always synchronous. But Nick, question to you. Let's assume you're on Binance and someone wants to buy from you XRP for $1, And you know, on Bittrex you could sell it for $1,000. Would you sell him? I wouldn't. I would open an account at Bittrex immediately and start selling there. So the arbitrage argument, in my opinion, that will hold true for maybe a minute or so, but after that people will realize, why would I sell for such a cheap price when I can get way more? And you have to be aware, X-Rapid will bring that much demand. That will be crazy. Now, how many, to Buck's question, how many preferred exchanges? I think 3 have publicly announced, but the digital asset investor had a video once, which I didn't watch totally, where he said there are more. Stuart, yes, the price on the different exchanges, they would synchronize over time. I mean, that coming back to this arbitrage argument from Nick. Obviously, if I were on Binance, then I would increase my ask price to also 500 or 1,000, whatever it is on Bittrex. Hence the contrary, quite the contrary. Nick, can you elaborate? I didn't really understand what you meant by contrary. Exit plan? I don't have an exit plan. I've been asked that. I will put those questions I have here in a PDF. Arbitrage, exit plan we discussed. CLSnet, don't know what that is, cannot say anything about it. You're the man, thanks for advice. You're welcome, Bart. Major banks transact more than 1 billion per day. I'm pretty sure. I am pretty sure about that. I just this 589 price prediction. I mean, I don't know, maybe we end up at $500, but then I still feel like a winner, because the guys who don't believe it think about $10. So even at $500, I'm way closer to 589 than $10. And what those people don't realize is X-Rapid brings a game into play no one, literally no one in the whole world has ever seen. It's a total new beast. And that's why no one really knows how the market will evolve. The only, I told it in my last video for those guys who saw it. 2 things we know. Actually, it's one thing. Transactions have to go fast. And for that to happen, the price has to be high, ridiculously high. If only 1% of this Swift and RippleNet and tips targeting European area stuff comes out to be correct, that RippleNet can whatever via API integration integrate with SwiftNet or tips target 2, then I think we will go to Saturn and not just to the moon. Yes, Bittrex is basically one of the preferred X-Rapid exchanges. Do you believe, regardless of institutional money or bear market, XRP will still jump up? For sure. I give a sorry about the wording. I give a shit about speculation price. Maybe speculate all those exchanges, backed, whatever other digital asset investors usually talks about this institutional money. That's just speculating on XRP price. That will eventually bring up us to $10. I'm not talking about $10, guys. I'm talking about 500,000, maybe 5,000. Literally, I don't. The more the market will grow, the higher the XRP price will become. I literally see no limits there. No limits. Yes, Stuart. If everyone asks for $1,000, then that's the price basically. And people, don't forget. I mean, there was a comment on one of my latest videos. Who will bring that money? I give you an example. You are a manufacturer of machines. You sell 10 of these machines to, I don't know, Africa or somewhere. 10 million. Every machine $1 million. So that customer of yours will send you the money. So basically, his transaction will buy the XRP, and in that transaction it's totally irrelevant if that mechanism has to buy 10,000 XRP or just 2 XRP. It's literally irrelevant. Even the banks don't care. There are many arguments out on Twitter that actually the transaction cost becomes cheaper the higher the price. On eToro, I'm usually Jason. I'm like, I put a comment there and I'm spent within a minute or so. There, look. It's like you have to be open. You have to realize that this is something the world has never seen. Never. No one knows. It's really the only thing we know is those transactions have to be fast. And because the average sell amount of XRP is so low, the price needs to go up. That's the only explanation I have, and I can literally not. I would have no arguments for anything else. I mean, think about the good day. Someone mentioned here that $1 billion is nothing for banks' transactions. Now, when we have a good volume day on XRP, it's 2 billions. Do you really think I, as small investor, buy and sell twice a day? For sure not. I want to make a profit and then I'm basically out. I cannot participate in the 0.05% price difference. Is that something the big guys can do, but not us? Discuss regulations in the EU and their impact on XRP. Let me note that down. Regulation, EU and impact on XRP. Well, basically, I mean, as we are talking about XRP, I won't note that down. For those who joined later, you see that document I'm writing. I'm trying to get the most important questions and answer them so that you can go later to the description and check the PDF. Regulations, in a video I've done maybe 6 weeks back, somewhere around then, I thought the only missing piece is regulation. In the meantime, I believe regulation is not even required. Let me explain you why. We're talking here about settlement of money, not payment. Let me give you an example. You go into the shop, buy a 6-pack of Cokes and pay with your card. So the merchant, as soon as you type in your PIN code for the card, the merchant has basically the confirmation that he will receive the money from your bank. Usually the settlement, at least here in Switzerland, is the next day. Sometimes it takes even 2-3 days for whatever reason until that money goes out of my bank account. But that's not the important thing. Important thing is the payment. That's like a contract. A contract the merchant can rely on. Let's say the bank burns down and cannot deliver that money for the 6-pack of Coke anymore. The contract still exists, and as soon as the bank is operating again, that merchant can fulfill that contract. He can request the money from your bank. On the days, I literally have no clue. There are some questions around days. There is an update of Ripple Data API on 7th of November. There are other dates popping up, 20th, 30th, 19th November. I really don't know. Since Shane Ellis' theory, which convinced me totally, I think it can happen literally any day. So if you plan to buy more XRP, do it now. It literally can shoot any day. Elfie, $1,000 per XP is literally nothing. Number one, thank you, Butterfly Trade. Well, I think what I may be doing a little bit better than other guys in the community, that I dig deeper, that I have an open mind, and I think I'm one of the only ones who was thinking that market through. Most talk about this speculation, price rises from BACs, from institutional money coming in, but that could go anywhere, I don't know, maybe 10, and it's a lot, maybe $50. But the use case, that's what the liquidity, that's what will drive the price. What do we consider end of year though? I tell everyone between 500 and open end, literally. In the recent 2 weeks, let's go back to this Bitrex thing. To the first people here on the chat, I have tried to explain that a little bit. Let's find the 5,000 mark. It has grown already, so now it's 200. That's interesting. 2-3 days ago at 5,000 mark, it was 130 million. Now it's already 300 million. To me, that's signs that are signs that something is building up. However, a few days ago, the difference for a high value transaction between 5 and 20,000 was a mere 5 million. I think from a transaction of 135 million to 50 million. So 15 million difference in the value of the transaction would increase $15,000 the price from 5,000 to 10,000. That's changing every day. You can check it yourself on the Bittrex exchange. Go to Bittrex, open Explore Markets, click XRP USD, and then do your figure. I tell you, when the Shane Ellis theory came out, the whole order book was about, I think, 50 million. The highest order price was $500 US. Now we are on literally 500 million. It's crazy. Something is going on. Okay, let me read the comments again. You're not allowed. You're not allowed to what? Because I said it in the rules, I wouldn't do price. I have no price prediction. I just have an assumption. I really don't know. I think we will end up way above $500. But that all depends on this switch being flipped, and upon which banks will eventually start transacting. So that's something we cannot really tell. We don't know when it starts, we don't know how high up it will go. I want to ask back, did everyone understand my explanation regarding the regulation? Is there anything else? Hi Future Boy, my biggest fan, one of my biggest promoters on Twitter. Elfie, let me summarize it quickly. I will put the link to the document again in the description after the video. Shane Ellis' theory is pretty simple. He says not the total market volume is important for the XRP market, but just the volume on one exchange. Go to Bittrex.com, click, I think it's Explore Markets, I think it's called. Bittrex.com, Explore Markets, and then XRP US dollar, and then this page here opens, and then you scroll down. Takes a while because we are streaming now, that's why it's a bit slower. And then you have the ask table. So basically, who did ask that? Elfie. So here on the left column, sum, you see the total sum of all values before. So on the first line we have 597, which is the sum as well. The second total would be 39,687. This and this equals 40,284. Plus 11,800 or 400. You see, it's changing all the time, but you get the idea. This the left column sums up the values on the right, and now you can go and check, let's say on here somewhere, I think for a close to 12 million transaction, for one single 12 million transaction, all XRP up to the price of $46 would have to be fulfilled. But that would take ages. We are here on page 12. On each page we have 30 orders, ask orders. Do the math. That's like almost 400 ask orders. That's simply a no-go. Such a transaction has to go quick, and because it has to go quick, the price of XRP will rise. Shane Ellis actually even explains that most of those low value ask orders might be skipped after all, because it will just not work. Elfie, I would suggest you check back this PDF. I will attach the description, and you contact me if you have further question. Shane, your Stuart is asking if it's worth joining Bittrex. I'm on eToro, as some of you guys know. I checked with the eToro support if we will be able to close big XRP positions. I'm talking more than 500 XRP when the price is at $5,000. They confirmed not a problem. They work with the best liquidity providers. However, when you're not on eToro, let's say you're on Bitstamp or on Binance or whatever other platform, which is not a preferred Xrapid exchange, it might be, if you really want to cash out, that you have to sell lower, that you need, let's say the current price on Bittrex is $500, maybe you need to sell it on Binance for 485, 95 or something. If that's acceptable for you, then stay there. If that's not acceptable, then move over to Bittrex. Stock market crash effects on XRP. I don't know. There are discussions, rumors that maybe IMF, the International Monetary Fund, I think it's called, is thinking about replacing the SDRs, which is a special drawing right to receive money in terms of a basket of several currencies right now. I think right now it's 5 currencies: euro, the Chinese currency, dollar, of course, yen, I think, maybe some other. And there could be that they're thinking about replacing that. That may be one way out of a crashing economy. When you're asking me about crashing stock market, I mean, everything is so totally interconnected that this might result in a severe worldwide depression. And if that happens, then I really see the possibility huge XRP becoming the replacement of the current SDR. And if that happens, guys, then we are not talking thousands per XRP. Then we are talking 100,000s per XRP, maybe millions. But this is long. I don't think it's just around the corner, as many people on Twitter suggest. Yes, I might Pinky77 on Twitter. Could be that stock crash could bring money into the crypto market, but as I mentioned beforehand, that will be just speculative money, and it would have literally nothing to do with the use case. By the way, some other argument. I mean, I'm really hoping everyone here in the chat understands that market cap for XRP especially, but basically for any of the cryptos, has literally no. It doesn't tell you anything. It's just amount of assets times price. It doesn't say anything about the money in the market. It doesn't say anything about new money in the market. XRP alone, I'm pretty sure, will hit 20 trillions very, very soon. There are people predicting in 5 years the whole crypto market will be 20 trillions. I don't care. For me, it's a figure which is totally irrelevant. And the other thing I wanted to quickly give you something to let sink in deeply, as other YouTubers would say. Sometimes there's the argument there's not even that much money in the world for a high market cap. I just told before that's totally irrelevant because it's not total money coming into the market. That's one of the reasons. And the other reason is go to the site, I'm pretty sure everyone knows that site, Ledger Exposed. Actually, I can show that here, Ledger Exposed. And then there is a stats site, I think here. This basically shows the overview over how many people or accounts store how many XRP roughly, and the total amount of it. So if you look at just that figure, almost 1 million of people have only 20 XRP. How would they get millionaires when it shoots to 500 or 5,000? No way. Okay, they will be out of the market like in nothing. And now, anyway, let me answer that question. How would all of us, and I'm assuming every one of us has between, I don't know, 2,000 and 50,000 or 100,000 XRP, how would we become millionaires? How would that money transfer work? Well, today, when banks use SWIFT, a smaller bank uses correspondent banking, they have to pay up to 5% fees. Now do the math on a someone mentioned earlier that it's easy 1 billion transferred per day. Okay, easy, with few banks, only 2-3 banks. Now do the math. 5% of 1 billion. How much is that? 50 million. Is that correct? I'm assuming that's correct. So assuming that for whatever price there is, one of you guys would have a profit of 5 million. So every day they could make 10 of us happy. And when you look at that, I mean, there is not so many who are in between 500 and 100,000. Those ones are top guys, institutional investors. I would assume most of us are somewhere between 1,000 and 50,000. That's, I don't know, maybe 200,000 people. And because we are intelligent, we would not sell everything. We would sell pieces, piece by piece, as we need the money. And now when we come back to this fee, the banks have to pay for the transactions via SWIFT. You realize up until now that money stuck with the correspondent bank. In the future it will be our profit, but not for very long, because all those with little XRP, below 5,000, below 1,000, they will be out of the market. Okay, I did a calculation once and I came about a month depending on the volume transacted on the RippleNet via XRapid, within a month, most of the small investors like us would be out of the market, and from then on it would be business as usual. Banks would buy XRP buy and sell XRP between themselves, and they would make fractions of a percentage gains, not like us, 100,000% of gains. Will there someday be an XRP solid price? I think there will be always moments when XRP will be stable. 4 weeks, 4 months. I don't know how long those periods are, but I see that there will be always jumps higher, because it's not based upon speculation, it's really the use case. At which price I retire and stop my YouTube account? Butterfly Trader, that's a very funny question, because I think I will be sleeping when this happens. I think it will happen so fast. Could be that something happens in the next few days, SBI VC coming along or whatever, and the price going up to $2, $3, maybe $5, in extremis maybe $10. But as soon as this use case with XRapid comes live, it'll shoot. And my retirement price is around $65. That would give me enough money for the rest of my life. But as I said, I think I would not realize, because I would be sleeping. Did everyone on the chat understand my thinking about the regulation? And actually, coming back to regulation, there is something else. I explained it with this difference between payment and settlement, and that I think that the payment needs to be regulated and not the settlement, because the payment is the contract. I am in a WhatsApp group, 5 people, me and 4 others, and one is a banker, and his thinking is, because RippleNet supports this ISO standard format thingy, and I think MT103, which is the ISO standard messaging format Swift will be introducing with GPI, is also, I think it's also an ISO standard format, and this is kind of regulated. So when that's the case, then we're basically all set, and we're just waiting for the switch to be flipped. Why are there so many conservative? I think it's 2 reasons why they do not expect more than $1. For one, they don't understand how XRP market works. They compare it with everything else we have. Stock markets, foreign exchange markets. They assume it's a market about speculation. And then there is some guys on the community, I think they don't, maybe they think 500 or more can happen, but they will not articulate it, just out of the fact, in order to not disappoint people who expect 500 and we end up only with $15. But anyway, I don't think that's possible. Yes, Lord, one bank live this year. That's what Brad Garlinghouse told us. I don't believe that. Digital asset investor and DM Logic tell in the recent videos, not so much anymore, but about 2 months ago, when we still have been in the drop of the XRP price, they were telling it over and over. Don't listen or believe what they write, watch what they do. And I think Ripple is one of the most brilliant companies with strategy in the world. They tell us everything, but you really have to listen closely. I mean, this Shane Ellis theory about the liquidity requirements. There was a presentation being done by Chris Larson 5 or 6 weeks back. Just very casually he mentioned the value of XRP will be driven by liquidity. No one paid attention, but I paid attention. Why? Because I'm believing in the Shane Ellis theory, and the whole thing there is liquidity is required. And when you listen to that and you connect all the dots, Stuart, I'm pretty sure we will have 10 to 20 banks on XRapid by the end of the year, maybe even 50. I wouldn't be surprised. What my number one doubt is that this will not happen. My number one doubt that this will not happen basically is around these regulatory issues, because for about 12 months we have been hearing from Ripple, we need regulation, we need regulation, we need regulation, we need regulation. Everyone has been waiting for the SEC decision, and there is nothing in sight in that regard. And that makes me a bit nervous. Because it could be that this regulation, if it is required, won't come this year. That's really my number one concern. However, that theory I explained before, that the difference between payment and settlement, that I think the payment needs regulation and not the settlement. And as we know, Ripple is basically is doing both. So why would someone, I mean, they're on top of this ILP protocol. Whom would regulate the protocol? That's nonsense. I mean, that's like SMTP or TCP/IP would need to be regulated. That's, to me, it just doesn't make sense. And by the way, that the difference between payment and settlement, and maybe that on this lower level, on the settlement layer, regulation is not even needed, came from a guy from Ripple. Video that maybe settlement regulation is not required. I will put that into the PDF after the show, after the live chat as well. Well, the bank which has been announced was something credit union, something in the US, but to me that's not really the way I understood this credit union. They have a lot of assets, but to me it sounded more like a pension fund management bank, like where the money for your retirement goes in. There will not be that much transactions coming out of that. Maybe if someone buys with his retirement money some property in another country or so, but I'm assuming that's literally not so much. No, I wouldn't diversify. Butterfly Trader is asking if I would diversify in anything else. No. The reason is I literally see no upper limit for the price of XRP. What I may be doing, just out of convenience, is cashing out. I mean, guys, I have my target is in the end to have more than $100 million, somewhere around that, but I can imagine it can go way more, way higher. Anyway, I think for my banking guys to support me well, I would need to have some decent amount of money in my banking account, and for that reason, and only for that reason, I may cash out maybe 5 million or so, ask for a dedicated account manager on the bank. I mean, in Switzerland, don't laugh at that, but with more than 10 million Swiss francs, you're one of the 15,000 richest people in Switzerland. Unbelievable. So they will offer me a special service. But they will only do that once they see I have that money. Once it's on a Toro or whatever other platform I'm on, they won't give me that special treatment, and it will also help me getting stuff done quicker when I have a certain amount of cash available. But everything else I will leave in XRP and just let it grow. No, there is really no discussion. Maybe that's the reason that this regulation issue just was issued to suppress the price, could be. Okay, I would say we stop here. I think there were some interesting questions. I will finish the PDF, I will upload it most likely today. It's not so late already, and I thank you for your time and patience with me. I hope I was understood well by everyone. I hope I could answer the most urgent questions. Those who have questions I didn't ask, please put them not in the chat, put them in the comments of the video, of this live stream video afterwards, so that I can answer them there. Most of you know that I am this guy on Twitter. You can also always send me messages on Twitter. And with that, I think I will leave you guys, but I have a little surprise. Many of you might recognize it. Andreas Vollenweider, a guy from Switzerland playing on the harp. Really nice music. Go and check it out. Have a nice day or evening or whatever. Thanks for your participation. Bye bye.